We should not only consider the fact that, day by day, our life is being spent, and a smaller amount of it remains, but also consider that if we live longer, it is not clear that our mental powers will remain the same, and be adequate for the understanding of affairs, and of the theoretical reflection that contributes to our grasp of both divine and human matters. If we begin to lose our mind, such things as respiration, digestion, sense perception, and motivation will not give out. But making proper use of oneself, and determining accurately the measure of what is appropriate, and specifying the content of sense impressions, and dealing effectively with this very question, whether now is the time to end one's life, and other questions that need very well exercised powers of consideration. These are all extinguished at an earlier stage. We must press on, not only because we are drawing closer to death at every moment, but because our grasp of affairs and ability to give them close attention will come to an end before we die. We should attend closely to points such as that even the byproducts of natural processes have a certain charm and attractiveness. For instance, when bread is being baked, the loaf breaks open here and there, and these very cracks, though they show in a sense the failure of the baker's expertise, catch the eye and, in their own special way, stimulate our enthusiasm for the food. Again, figs, when they are completely ripe, split open. Also, in olives, which are ready to drop, the very proximity to decay adds a certain special beauty to the fruit. Again, ears of corn bending towards the earth, and the lion's puckered brow, the foam dripping from the boar's mouth, and many other things are far from beautiful if one views them in isolation. But the fact that they are corollaries of natural processes gives them an added beauty and draws us to them. So for someone with feeling and a deeper insight into the workings of the universe, there is almost nothing that will fail to present itself with pleasure, even among the things that happen as incidental consequences. He will look at the actual gaping jaws of wild beasts with no less pleasure than the representations given by painters and sculptors. He will also be able to see in an old woman or man a certain prime and bloom, and he will look at the erotic charm of his own slaves with chaste eyes. There are many other such instances that will not strike everyone as being persuasive, but only someone who has genuinely familiarized himself with nature and its work. Hippocrates cured many illnesses, and then fell ill and died himself. The Chaldean astrologers predicted the deaths of many people, and then they too were taken by a fated day. Alexander, Pompey, and Julius Caesar destroyed utterly many cities, and slaughtered tens of thousands of cavalrymen and foot soldiers in pitched battles, and one day they too left this life. Heraclitus, after speculating so much about the universe being destroyed by fire, died with his insides full of water, and smeared with a poultice of cow dung. Democritus was killed by lice, and Socrates by lice of another kind. So what does it amount to? You come on board, you set sail, you have now reached land. Step ashore. If you come to another life, nothing is empty of gods even there. If you come to unconsciousness, you will no longer be subject to pains and pleasures, and you will no longer be the servant of a vessel as inferior in value as that which serves it is superior. One is mind and the guardian spirit, the other earth and blood. Do not waste the remaining part of your life in thinking about other people, unless you're doing so with reverence to the common benefit. I mean, thinking about what such and such a person is doing and why, and what he is saying and thinking and planning, and all such things which make you wander from looking after your own ruling center. So you must exclude from your chain of thought what is random and pointless, and above all, anything that is interfering and malicious. You must train yourself only to think the kind of thoughts about which, if someone suddenly asked you, "What are you thinking now?" you would at once answer frankly, this or that. So, from your reply, it would immediately be clear that all your thoughts are straightforward and kind, and express the character of a social being who has no concern with images of pleasure, or self-indulgence in general, or any kind of rivalry, malice, or suspicion, or anything else you would blush to admit you were thinking about. A man like that, who no longer postpones being among the best now, is a sort of priest and servant of the gods. He uses the element seated within him, which enables the person as a whole to be unstained by pleasures, invulnerable in every pain, untouched by every violent impulse, not forming any thoughts of wrongdoing, a wrestler in the greatest of competitions, that of avoiding being thrown by any passion. He has also died to his depths with justice, welcoming with all his heart all that happens and is allotted to him. And only rarely, and only when there is some great need for the public good, does he give his mind to what someone else is saying, or doing, or thinking. He gives his sole attention to how he might carry out his own activities, and attends continually to his own strand in the whole web. He makes sure that his own activities are done rightly, and he is convinced that his own strand in the web is good. The fate allocated to each of us is carried along with us, and carries us along. He remembers too that all rational creatures are relatives, and that, while it is in accordance with human nature to care for all human beings, he should not attend to the opinions of all of them, but only to those who live according to nature. He reminds himself constantly of the character of those who do not live in this way, what they are like at home and away from home, and who they contaminate themselves with by night and by day. Nor does he give weight to the praise of such people who do not even satisfy themselves. When you carry out actions, do not do so unwillingly or unsociably or unreflectively or with conflicting motives. Do not dress up your thoughts with elegant language. Do not be a chatterer or a busybody. Let the God within you be the overseer of a creature who is manly, mature, a statesman, a Roman, and a ruler who has taken up his post, waiting for the signal to quit life and ready to be released, without the need of an oath or someone else as a witness. Maintain an inner joy, and one that does not need external support or the peace which others provide. Thus you should be upright, not held upright. If you can find anything in human life better than justice, truthfulness, self-control, courage, in short, then the self-sufficiency of your mind, both in the actions which it enables you to perform according to right reason, and the events which are allocated by fate without your choice. If, as I say, you can see anything better than this, turn to it with all your heart, and enjoy the supreme good that you have found. If nothing better is revealed than the guardian spirit seated within you, which has subordinated to itself all your motives, and scrutinizes your thoughts, and has, as Socrates used to say, withdrawn itself from all sensory passions, and has subordinated itself to the gods, and which takes care of other people. If you find all other things to be trivial and valueless in comparison with this, give no room to anything else, since, once you turn towards that and divert from your proper path, you will no longer be able, without any conflict, to give the highest honor to that which is properly good. It is not right to set up as a rival to the rational and social good anything alien to its nature, such as the praise of the many, or positions of power, wealth, or enjoyment of pleasures. All of these, even if they seem to suit our nature for a little while, suddenly take control of us and carry us away. But in your case, as I say, simply and freely choose what is better, and hold on to that. But what is better is what benefits me. If it benefits you as a rational creature, then maintain this. But if it does so as an animal, reject it, and hold to your decision without a big fuss. Only take care that your inquiry is conducted securely.